It's been busy.
Yeah,
Watching basketball, watching music.
getting ready, man. It's almost it's been I don't know. I feel like NBA off season is like the shortest because a lot of stuff happens in the off season compared to other sports.
Yeah,
But
it's kind of like the funnest off season, I feel like.
oh yeah, there's so many like milestones along the way.
Yeah.
Well, welcome back to the podcast. I mean, it's good to. I don't have many returning guests, but it's good to have you back on.
Have you had
Um,
have you had returning guests?
I've
Is
had the
this
You're the second one I've had.
okay?
Just recently I had Nick Thorburn from Islands on. And I think
He's Canadian, I think,
he
right?
is, but he is LA resident these days.
So is he
Um,
like Toronto or
yeah, he's
Lakers?
he's a Raptor guy.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, he came up in the that's like indie rock, indie pop, like early, mid 2000s scene in Canada.
Yeah.
The Unicorns. He was in the
Yeah.
Unicorns.
Oh, that's right.
Um, but
Well,
yeah, dude,
great to
welcome
be
back.
back.
Absolutely.
The hallmark
And
of a great podcast is, returning
you
guests.
gotta, you
Yeah.
gotta. And part of the, big reason we're having you back is you've got some solo work going on.
I got some solo work going on. Yeah.
So I guess, yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about it? I mean, I've heard a few of the tracks and it's definitely maybe a what not what people would expect. Yeah, let
Yeah.
us know.
It's really stretching the term indie, which I don't think is indie at all. And coming from a very indie band, I think I just made this record. I just wanted to make this record. I made it for my daughter. It's really like a neoclassical, slight free jazz, piano only album. And I don't think I realized those genres and those terms until like I started releasing it. And it's a if you like when am I gonna lose you in dark days, this is pretty far away from that. And I don't think I realized these genre terms of this record that I made until it started getting out there in the real world.
Well, yeah, when you were telling me about it, and we were talking about possibly recording some video of you playing, you said Nils Fromm, and I'm like, yes, which I
Yeah.
love Nils Fromm, so that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I just found myself listening to him a lot more and falling in love with the piano again, and that's
Yeah,
just kind of the music that I was making. And uh, maybe I made a point, especially with my solo stuff, where I'm just making music and records. I don't know, these projects and things that I really can experiment and want to do versus like in my band, which I'm very grateful of, is you have to think about how it translates live, or what's gonna make the festival set, or
sure,
the conversation to the album before. And yeah, the expectations are far different for like a solo thing.
right. Uh, do you listen to a lot of like ambient music?
Not so much ambient. I found myself just listening to more piano music, and then
Sure.
like most like classic jazz. I don't know what that means, but like 50s, 60s jazz. Um, and that was just something I last few years I just found myself drawn to. And then there's like a really sick LA jazz scene happening right now,
Oh,
where
cool.
just I would go to these like they're basically free jazz nights where like they show up, no one has anything written, and sometimes there's just like these gems where it's like, oh my God, that was amazing. And then
That's
sometimes they're
awesome.
very challenging, probably even for those playing it, because they literally are just like making up on the spot. And there's something
Yeah,
like pretty freeing about that to see it. Yeah. Or, like you're feeling like you're witnessing something and it's not all great. And that's what makes the good so good.
right.
And
Yeah, I feel like there's nothing like watching live jazz. It's like the truest expression of music.
yeah, just pure masters of their instrument. They're just like
Right.
talking to each other basically. Yeah. And I'm over here with like my 1 4 5 chords.
Well, and you kind of mentioned too, it's like everything you've kind of tried to release under chewing, it's like it does feel a little different because it's kind of like that's your vessel to explore a little bit, right?
Mhm.
So like I feel like in previous stuff, this is your first time. I feel like it's really gone in that neoclassical route because you've done a little more electric kind of stuff in the past too, and like remixes and things like that. So
Yeah,
coming from, is this just like, making music as chewing, is this like your kind of way to explore different types of music?
definitely. And like this record, I didn't set out to make a record. I was just like
Yeah.
recording all the time. I was making just playing lullabies really from like my daughter when she was a newborn, and I was
Mhm.
just taking all these voice memos. I'm like, oh, I just want to remember all this, and then I had like dozens, and so I was like, oh, that one's cool, that one's not cool. Just like started like parsing through. I'm like, oh, what if I finish that? So I think this one I didn't go out to make a record, but I do. I was talking to a friend about this lately. Just have less time as a parent, but I have a list of like 6 albums I want to make. Just these like projects or very specific sound, and but
Cool.
most of those are solo things. Some are with the band, but just like I don't know. I've made a lot of albums, not a lot. Made yeah, I don't know, like 10 records. And so it's just
Right.
like now I'm like excited to be like, what if we made Local Natives folk acoustic album? What if I made yeah, like all this other stuff that like yeah,
Yeah. That, I mean, that's music, right? It's just like you shouldn't limit yourself to any one thing.
yeah. And
Um,
just have fun with it. Come on.
yeah, definitely. And I'm excited to listen to it. I think it is a cool thing. That's something like that you did it's very personal for you and like your daughter, can be enjoyed by, other people in like a total completely different, aspect.
Totally. And that's, I mean, this album I've been telling the story of exactly what it is, but even in Local Natives albums, we've said exactly what it is, and then we meet people, and like a breakup song will be like someone's like first dance song, and it's like
Right.
wild to hear. Like, oh, that was I specifically know the relationship that song was written about, and you guys dance to it, and that's beautiful. That's all. Like, it becomes the meaning is up to the listener at a certain point.
Right.
They just take on
Definitely.
like it's a whole new life.
Yeah. Uh, and yeah, since you've last come on, I mean, I feel like a good amount of stuff's happened with, especially with the announcement of Kelsey leaving Local Natives. So it's like,
Yeah,
do you have any kind of insight on what's next for the band, or is there you just kind of like taking a breather for a minute,
we're not taking a breather. I was recording today actually.
getting right into it?
I feel like we're say workaholics, but we never have a problem with like lack of songs or lack of ideas, and
Sure.
with so many songwriters in the band. But no, I mean it's a very it's a sad thing. It's beautiful that we're like doing this so openly and so amicably. If
Yeah.
I've said that word right. It does feel like the most LA conscious uncoupling. Like it's just like normally when someone leaves a band, it's like you missed it. Like they're out. Like here's the announcement.
Right.
Um, so he's gonna play everything this year, going into the beginning of next year.
Yeah.
We talked about doing like yeah some maybe beautiful sit down theater shows beginning of next year as like the final hurrah,
Cool.
and get into making another record. Um, the four of us. I have no idea what that will sound like or be like, but we're pretty like say democratic to a fault. That's what we always talk about. But it's like it's we will miss him dearly in his voice and his songwriting. But there's so many different configurations of us that make different
Hmm.
songs in the band. Um, so in some sense, we've made we've made songs. Groups of us made it without him. He's made songs with some of
Sure.
us without. It's not like all five of us is like we do that. I play the bass, you play the guitar.
Right.
What's the drum part? Like we're pretty mix and matchy. So
Yeah. Even seeing you guys live, like it's very evident you're switching around and playing different instruments and stuff too.
yeah, But I have no idea what it'll sound like. I'm guessing 2026 or something. We just put out
Yeah,
a lot of music, so at the earliest, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Cool. Uh, well, have you been watching? So we talked a little bit. You've been watching much basketball. Have you watched any of the Olympics?
Watched all of the Olympics.
Oh
I was
yeah,
watching non-US teams play non-US teams. Like I was
you were
I
watching the
was all in.
qualifiers.
Yeah. I had a lot of like Canada coaching notes. I feel like their coaching really let them down as
Mhm.
well as Jamal Murray. But like I was all in. I had a great Olympics. I watched like
Awesome.
kayaking,
Yeah,
fencing, the
a little
classics,
dressage.
not dressage. But I would have.
I did watch a lot of Olympics as well. It was pretty fun.
Didn't it
Um,
feel like, at least for me, one of the best Olympics in a while? World
yeah,
records, maybe the time difference was just great or something.
I mean, yeah, it was also just like enjoyable to watch Paris.
Yeah.
And I mean, like as far as my memory, like obviously the Michael Phelps Olympics was like very memorable for me, like when he broke those
Yeah.
records. But
Yeah.
Simone Biles doing her thing, and yeah,
Yeah.
there's always this year was it was fun to watch like all the non-heavy hitters, like the whole spectacle with like the breakdancing.
Oh my God. Yeah. So
Skateboarding was
and
sick.
escape. I feel like the BMX one was sick too.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
all in
man.
on Noah
I
Lyles.
watched yes. Oh well, Noah Lyles is a whole different thing, especially when it comes to
Yeah.
NBA, the way he's been
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah. Anthony Edwards shoe.
Dude, he just keeps going. And I don't know like what he's thinking. Because like his first bit, when he was saying that, well, a championship is how is that a world champion? Like I understand that because I've heard that argument for baseball too.
Yeah.
Um, but he just kept going. Like I understand there's a place he's coming from where he just wants like respect outside of the Olympics, but I
Yeah.
think he's going about it a little wrong.
I don't, I don't even know if I completely disagree with him. And I think he's
Right.
like hilarious and such a rad personality to have in like
Yeah.
track and field. But like, but I love when like, I don't know, those athletes kind of go after each other. I don't
Yeah.
feel like he was kind of going after him, but like they're wired like, who was I talking to a friend about this? It was just like, they're wired like insane people. Like you have to be to like
Yeah.
work on like your left-handed floaters for like 3 hours a day. Like you have to be like wired like pretty like crazy.
Yeah.
And so like I feel like a lot of times they don't know how to turn that off. Like, Kyrie is one of the best handlers ever.
Mhm.
And obviously that bleeds into him being like crazy off the court. Like it's just like how do you turn off that like craziness?
Sure.
Um anyway, but the same with like I don't like how do you tell him to like keep his chill? And he's
I
like
know, right?
he kind of has a point, but it's like a semantics argument or something.
Yeah. You know it would be amazing, and I really hope they do, is if he was in like All-Star Celebrity Game.
Oh, of course, yeah.
He's gotta.
Anthony's coaching or something.
Yeah. He's gonna coach him. He's gonna work him hard.
Yeah,
That would be amazing. Because yeah, actually, it seems like the way he talks is like he doesn't really pay attention much to like high profile sports that much.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
There was a whole thing with Tyreek Hill as well. Like he said he could beat Tyreek Hill in a race,
yeah.
which I mean, Tyreek Hill said he could beat him in a race, and it's like I don't. Why are we doing these competitions? I don't get
But
it.
also, I would watch that. Wouldn't that be
I
sick?
would
Just like ESPN 3, just do a half an hour like lead
yeah,
up, and then they just race at the end.
absolutely, and that's why
Yeah,
like when they were doing like the ridiculous stuff where like Michael Phelps is swimming against a shark, it's
yeah,
like come on,
yeah,
dude, we could just do like this instead, and it makes way
yeah.
more sense.
I mean, I was so grateful for the Olympics because this was like I don't watch baseball or hockey,
Yeah.
though I'm wearing a hockey hat. And there's just like this dead period of like live sports to watch.
Hmm.
But I feel like that's every year, especially when there's no Olympics. Just Noah Lyles, Tyreek Hill, and like
Yeah.
beginning of July.
Right.
Like that would be like the biggest event. Just
We should have like our own Olympic events in the off season.
exactly.
That's what we need to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was ridiculous, but I loved watching Olympic basketball. I loved watching Luol Deng coach South Sudan, and
That was
it was just like there was like Shea looked awesome for Canada.
oh man,
Um,
he needed some just like OKC, he needed some
yeah,
help, some
well,
scoring
he,
help.
well he's got help this year. OKC is going to be interesting.
They will be really good, but I
He's
feel
got
like the
defensive help
end
at least.
defensive, yeah. But like the end of games, they would just like double triple them. It's like cool,
Yeah,
Lou Dort, like make a shot. And I don't know if that's Lou Dort's like specialty is like a
right.
pull up mid range. But the end was sick that they were together. I had a lot of Team Canada coaching us. Why weren't they on the floor together at all times?
They already got the chemistry. Yeah,
Yeah, like that. Uh, I was actually going to pitch some Olympics versus real NBA comps, not even comps, but just questions. Because I
sure.
remember 4 years ago, Levine, I feel like he had a great Olympics. He was like a glue guy. He was out there, and like Dame couldn't stay on the court.
Mhm.
And then, I mean, I know you're a Chicago guy. Like, how does that? Is it just a contract, or why does that? I thought that would have translated in some way, and
I
maybe his
think
value is just like at an
it's
all-time low because of the
coaching.
contract.
It's I don't know, man. I think it's the Bulls are a whole different thing right now. It's very messy right now.
They're just a messy organization.
They are quite a messy organization, and coaching has been very inconsistent. And I just don't think that he has the chemistry with the rest of the team, right?
Gotcha. Because
But
then I'll keep going.
no, no, that's all I got. I
Oh,
I I feel like every episode at this point, I'm like, ugh, the
yeah,
Bulls.
Chicago. Because even making jokes, so like finals, there's two like finals winners, like Jamal Murray finals was just like playing out of his mind. But then Olympics Murray was like he wasn't like a liability, but
Mhm.
he was not doing a lot. And then
Sure.
obviously the same thing with like finals Tatum versus Olympics Tatum. And that was a crazy
DNP.
conversation. Yeah. But like, they're winning championships and same I remember watching Levine in like Tokyo. I was like, I feel like he's like a great glue guy, but maybe he's
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
paid to be like a number one or number two guy. That's not his skill
I
set
don't.
or something.
It's
But
it's weird how that happens to you because I'm the opposite. You'll get like Evan Fournier balling out for
oh
France.
yeah, yeah, it was almost unplayable in the NBA.
It's just like sometimes you get those guys like the FIBA sort of like vibe. It just brings something different out in some of those players that just doesn't translate to the NBA too.
Yeah, yeah. And it is
But
like
it's
sudden death playoff basketball
true.
versus like a random game in January or something.
And yeah, and again in that note too, that Serbia versus US
Oh,
uh quarterfinal game, man, that
yeah,
semifinal game rather. That, you know, Bogdanovich, like
yeah, the best
whole
player of our
thing
generation, Bojan
crazy. He
Bogdanovich.
was like so mad.
I wanted to know why, like he was yelling at Melo. Uh,
He did like the mellow 3 point
yeah,
thing,
I
and
saw
LeBron
that.
took offense to that. And
uh,
then, they won that one in crazy fashion. So that was so fun to watch.
that was an incredible game. But even, I mean, that's a good Olympics versus finals. Like finals, Jokic. I mean, he's just like so great. But
Yeah.
like, I feel like he was more excited. I saw him more excited in the Olympics than like the
True.
finals.
True.
Like more animated for like the semi Olympic round than like winning the Western Conference.
He loves his country, man.
I mean, I get it. That's so
If the
cool.
NBA was in Serbia, he would be so happy.
Yeah. I feel like that
He doesn't
guy's
want
just
to be in
gonna
Denver.
he's just gonna disappear in like a couple of years.
He's totally gonna retire. He's gonna win MVP again and then just be like, I'm good.
Yeah. But
That would
just seeing
he'll pull a
seeing
Barry
the
Sanders, yeah.
yeah, he's most likely for that to happen. But his like regular NBA version of himself or still Olympic version of himself, like that obviously he's like probably the best player in the world right now. But like that was there was no like drop off,
Yeah,
versus
still very good.
his number two, Jamal Murray, was just like lost on Team
True.
Canada, and the rotations were out of control. I was like upset watching the Canadian game. I had no stake other than just loving Shea,
Yeah.
the one that got away.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Sometimes I even forget about that. Like,
Yeah,
what what if he was just hanging out? He was still there. I don't
there was
there's a good
like
chance he wouldn't be who he is, but who knows?
there. I always have a great time listening to Doc Rivers interviews because you have to take them all with a grain of salt. But
Yeah.
there was like a recent one where just talking about trying to convince Kawhi just to come to Clippers because he just won. It's like
Uh-huh.
just wait a year before you like have to like see what we got before you like force the star trade. Because then he was talking about Shea, but he also talked about, and I watched like every Shea rookie game, and Doc said it too. It was just like we knew he was gonna be good, but I don't think any of us saw
Sure.
this happening. Like it was, yeah,
That's
but
yeah, pretty
it was
crazy.
sick.
So, I guess pivoting a little on that note is as a Clippers fan, have you watched Clipped? Speaking of Doc Rivers,
No, it's not. It's have you watched it?
I watched one episode and I just couldn't do it anymore.
I don't know if it is it made for like NBA fans because I
I
saw
don't
like
think
the
so.
the screenshots of like, oh, that's supposed to be JJ Redick, or like we all know every character, every player
That's
so
what it is.
well. But
It
yeah,
all ruins it for me. Like I
yeah.
just like I'm like how is this Jamal Crawford? Like
Mhm.
I don't get it.
Yeah. No, I couldn't.
It's weird. I had to give up, but I think winning time worked because it's like yeah, that was like 40 years ago. Um, but you gotta give these things some time, or it's got to be a smaller story, not people that are still in the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't
Blake
do it like a few
Griffin,
years
oof,
later.
that was brutal.
I mean, that's gotta be some rough casting
Yeah.
for a lot of people.
Um. So going into the season, we're what 6 weeks away?
Is
Probably
it
more
that
than that. We're probably
close?
we're probably
We're
two
further
full
away.
months away.
Yeah.
Um. Let's do a little Clippers outlook. How you feeling? First and foremost, uh, what do you think about the new stadium?
The stadium looks sick.
It does
They'll,
look cool. I won't lie.
I've had like acquaintances go. I know if like I've become friendly with some people like the Clipper Powder organization and just like
Mhm.
saw stuff, and it's like, I mean, it's just a brand new arena. So like
Yeah,
anything, any brand new arena is going to be like better than one that was made in like 1991 or something, just
right,
by
right.
default. It looks sick. Um, it is a lot further away from me though, which I'm bummed because I'm like 10 minutes from downtown. I just like take the train to games.
Yeah,
Um, the huge thing, and it's crazy that he built this for basically a reason, was just like the schedule. Like we played like the most matinee games, which led to like, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 real scheduling losses. But to
hmm
me, that's wild to be like, oh, that's what if I spend $1 billion to not
right.
have 4 or 5 scheduling losses because we played like
I mean,
they
they
actually
they
like
just
broke
want
the rule. I saw it, and I don't know who to complain to. There's like rules like you can't play 2 games within like 36 hours or something. Like, there's like a player
sure,
unit thing. And that would happen to us like twice a season. I was like, this is like no one cared. It was like this is against
right.
the rules. Like, of course Kawhi's not gonna play, like he's like
Yeah, yeah.
this brittle human. And so like, cool, let's spend $1 billion to like
Right, right.
get those 4 or 5 marginal wins up.
Yeah, I feel like why I just don't understand why others all these other cities and other people who have two sport teams like they all have their own equal weight. It's not like even other sports, Cubs and White Sox. It's not like they're one's a sub. It always felt like the Clippers were like shifted
Yeah,
underneath the Lakers because they
of
played at the
course.
Lakers stadium. It wasn't a shared
Yeah,
stadium.
yeah.
So
It was
it's
theirs.
time they had their own lights and get treated equally.
Lakers fans made us very aware of that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you got mega billionaire money behind you now these days, and uh, I'm sure the ticket prices will go up a little bit.
Yeah, but now it's even having a mega billionaire owner, the
Yeah,
second apron, it doesn't really matter how rich your owner is.
right.
It's
That's
he spent
true.
like crazy for a while, and now we have it's that get me started on the second apron vlog boy stuff. But like us and the Warriors spent like record amount of money,
Sure.
and Warriors won one within that 5 year range. But it is crazy to like, in my mind, like handicap. Like, we made the Western Conference Finals once. Like, it's not
Mhm.
like we're this juggernaut that needs to be tamed.
Right.
But
Yeah. So
or
as we approach a new season with the Clippers, there's obviously some changes to the team. Um, PG's gone
yeah,
and Russ is gone.
yep,
You did add Derek Jones Jr., Mo Bamba, Chris Dunn, Batum, and Kevin Porter Jr., which I'm not sure
yikes.
that equals what you
PG.
lost.
Yeah.
But how are you feeling, I guess, going into the season with where the team is?
I feel it's like tempered expectations, but I also feel like because of that, I feel like a little say sleeper vibe. Because
Yeah,
it's definitely a
sure.
step down, but like the whole Kawhi like the 2 and 3 era was like we need 2 stars and like these support players. And
Mhm.
then the beginning of the Harden uh experiment, but like we like lost like 10 in a row. There was like something, and then we went on this crazy run where it was like we
Mhm.
were like 25-5 or something. But it felt like there was too many mouths to feed. Like they all need the ball in their hand. Like and PG kind of just became like the third like slash and cut. Like you can take an open three after like we both do this, or like we trying to find moments. So
Yeah.
I still feel like I would say the sleeper vibe because the expectations are way lower. I feel
Yeah,
like
true.
there was a lot of hype the last few years, like, oh, we can win it, we can win it. But I feel like the Kawhi and Harden are still that's like a good complementary combo, I feel like. Whereas
Hmm.
PG and Kawhi were like versions of the same player.
Right, right.
Um Batum, you just had a great Olympics. That dude,
Yeah. Oh, he should.
we
Yeah, he
just
should.
traded him to get Harden.
Do you
We got
it
Derek
does
Jones
feel like,
Jr., who just destroyed PG's spirit. Like,
I mean, former Bull, I loved him on the Bulls. Yeah,
I didn't
he's
realize he was
he's
on the
he's a
Bulls.
fun player to he's a solid player. Um, you know, there is the Kevin Porter Jr.
Oh, yikes!
The ick that goes with that, but
Yeah, that's disgusting. I
what
mean, we
what is it with the
we
Clippers
got
doing that? Because they had Primo
they
last
did
year.
Josh Primo last year. Yeah, and, I think it's that I've heard like what's the name, Frank GM, talk about it in press conferences because everyone's like, "What are you doing?" Because we have no draft picks basically at all. So it's like we have to like we
Bill
don't have to.
roster.
I don't think they have to, but it's like these like lottery picks that
Yeah.
people are giving us. Like, can we try to make them better and
Mhm.
see if they can be like a good player again? And
Yeah.
I don't know if you have the culture to like fix their off the court problems.
Yeah. That's a counterpoint.
Yeah, totally. I don't know if Kawhi is known for his like loud leadership.
Yeah, yeah. I love the stories that we've heard about Kawhi coming out of the like podcast era. Like Paul George is especially telling those stories where like there's that one where he's like they're doing sprints. If you're not doing something, he's like, I'm not doing
Yeah.
it. He's so quietly funny, and I wish we got to see more of it.
I feel like he's a funny dude who doesn't. Maybe it's like maybe Jokic is really funny. I have no idea, but just like
Yeah.
people who just don't like the press conference, being
Yeah.
online, like the attention thing. But you can still be like a normal, funny. Like everyone just says he's like the funniest dude
True.
on the team or in the text thread or something. But like it's a totally different skill to be like I'm gonna go on a late night. I'm gonna like sell my shoes on a commercial. Like that's a totally different skill set, which like
Right. Of
LeBron's just been perfecting that for so many years. So like we
course.
all think like all the stars should be like that, but yeah.
I do
Anyways,
feel like Kawhi, like with him, you could hear like a fake quote about him, and you have no idea if he actually said it or not, because like
yeah,
he
yeah,
could say the wildest shit.
yeah.
But so
That's a great place to hit though in your
yeah,
lore. You know, like
that's true.
if you heard a Father John Misty quote, like is that real or not? Like that.
Yeah,
That's a pretty fun place to be.
that's true. It's very true. Um, so I feel like too, looking at the outlook for this upcoming year, it seems like they're putting a lot of faith in Trey Mann. Do you feel like that's true?
Terrence Man, the other man.
Terrence Mann, my bad. Yeah.
No, it's all good. Uh, I feel like he's a trade candidate, honestly. He was like untouchable, and I really like. I feel like Kawhi like loves him.
Mhm.
He was like kind of pulled him under his wing from the beginning. Yeah, I feel like it's just gonna be weird to see like it's really two slots because it's like Zoo is like a solid center.
Mhm.
Norm is like, you know, in the running for six man a year like every season. So it's just like once the rotation gets down to like seven guys, one off the bench, and it's like
True.
Jones Jr., Batum, Terrence Mann, I guess Chris Dunn is like a backup one. It's just like I feel like it's gonna it's gonna get small quick, like when
Yeah,
it's
true.
like go time.
Well, hopefully, I mean, I do feel like this means that Harden and Kawhi are just gonna have monster seasons, maybe.
I, I can't. I was like so bummed with the Harden trade, but like him is just like a pure assist guy. Is like pretty like he's playing like a pure point guard,
I do
which
feel
he
like
was
this is
like
the
an
best fit
annoying.
for him in a while.
Yeah, because I remember like 2020, 19 into 20, like when we were just like firing on all cylinders right before the bubble happened. But I remember playing Houston and we just like destroyed Harden and just like, oh, we're gonna win the title this year. And then
Sure.
you know, the bubble, everything happened. Uh but that was like I felt like the end of that Harden, like just like layups and threes only. And now he's just like he's kind of like a fun point guard. And I can't believe I'm saying that because I was
Yeah,
pretty bummed with the trade when it happened.
definitely. I mean, it's hard to compare it now, but I mean, it's where your team's at. I feel like they're a decent pair together. They're a weird duo when it comes to NBA
Yeah.
duos.
Oh yeah. I can't imagine them chilling off the court.
What
But
Wes
also,
or Russ and Harden were different because it's like they were vibing on like a different level.
yeah.
But yeah, it's they're a strange duo, and I kind of love it.
But I also, yeah, and this totally could be like drinking my own Kool-Aid, just after the fact because you have to accept what happened. But like there was this, I feel like he's always had this PG passiveness, uh, and he's so incredible.
Yeah,
So I'm not trying to say it's like he's not a good player or something, but just like he like I remember we had Hartenstein, and then he like kind of forced the front office to get rid of him to like we need a point guard, we need John Wall, we need Reggie, we need Russ, like, but he kept complaining about that stuff. But then this whole offseason was like, I want to be paid like a number one option, but I wanted like a number two or number three responsibility. So just like that energy, I felt like
yeah.
was pretty annoying for the last few years. Um, yeah, there's someone else we had like a John Wall type. We're just like,
Oh yeah,
oh, Eric Bledsoe, like just like we're
that's
getting
right.
like all these dudes on their last NBA runs
Yeah.
because he was like trade our backup center for this point guard that's like a friend of mine. He was
True.
pushing for Bradley Beal too, I heard, like behind the scenes or
Well, I feel like Bradley Beal was rumored to go everywhere.
yeah. But
Everyone
then I
wanted, yeah,
mean,
because it seems like he's like friends with everyone. He just wanted to play with his friends wherever.
yeah.
And I
So
don't
I
know
just
that the
like
Suns
that.
are the right fit.
Oh my god, that's so rough. But I mean, it's just the rest of the team. I was not buying the hype last year too, but it's like is so top heavy. But KD and Booker were so fun in the Olympics,
Yeah.
but like they have nothing around. Like you're relying on Grayson Allen to play out of his mind.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what? I guess what's your final? What do you think they're going to seed?
I think we're going over. I know our over under is 40.5.
Okay.
I think we're 45 to 47.5 range.
Okay.
But honestly,
Avoiding the
like,
play-in.
yeah, maybe what's the plan? Six? The six plan?
It's
Six avoids it.
ten,
I
8 through
yeah,
10,
seven,
7, 8, 9,
through
10.
yeah. I think we are 60. And if we get bounced in the first round, like how's that different from last year? So it's just like that's the
Fair.
expectation, Yeah. But it all
Okay.
just depends if Kawhi is healthy in April and May.
True.
Because
Very
when
true.
he's that run we had in like January, February, like he was like MVP conversation. Like he was
Yeah.
like playing out of his mind. So it's just, can he be healthy in April and May?
I
I'm
feel like as much
advocating
as
for load management again. Actually, I think he needs
yeah,
to play less games
I feel like as much as you may not want to admit it, we're in a very similar boat
with Levine.
with just the like where our teams sit.
Yeah,
Like we're hoping to get play in or avoid play in, and but it's just like it's we're definitely trying to surpass the expectations there, and they're not high.
yeah.
But you at least have some bona fide superstars in your team, where we don't.
I feel like you're just barreling towards a rebuild, but no one wants
I
Levine,
want
right?
them to just do a full rebuild.
But is there any? What is there rumorvilles of like anybody who wants Levine other than the
No,
Lakers?
there was the in which is crazy to me at the end of last season is that he had literally no trade value, which I can't find possible.
It's just the contract, though, right? Isn't it like
I guess.
the second biggest contract or something?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
Bulls typically don't have big contracts because Ryan Surf is very cheap about that.
yeah,
Whatever. Let it
yeah.
fly. At least, DeMar's he got out. So
He got out. I forgot. I was
I
just.
hope Kobe keeps balling.
He's been fun.
Yeah, he was very fun to watch.
All I know it's so many teams ago, but just DeMar showing up in the Not Like Us music video was amazing. It was like, oh, Toronto was like 4 teams ago for him.
Right, true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
Spurs and yeah. Also Kawhi trade.
yeah. Oh,
So
yeah, yeah. They're for each other, huh?
um okay. So yeah, I have hopes that they'll at least be interesting to watch. And I think the West in general is just so fun.
Yeah.
Like so many good teams to watch. Uh so last time you came on, we had you do musician matchups, which I recall you comparing Kawhi Leonard to FK Twigs, which was excellent. Um, but this time, let's have you do the other game we do with people, and that's build a band. So the idea being, let's assign some NBA players some instruments. Let's create a band. What do they sound like? What are they doing? Let's
I
make it
got a
happen.
I got a few players. I guess I need to know the rules first. Are they current NBA players? Like, or
Whatever
is
you
like
want it to be. Yeah, it's open.
Walton and Grateful Dead like in the play, or like,
Absolutely.
yeah. Well, I was starting current players, and I I honestly don't know why I'm making this comparison, but I want to start my band with Brandon Ingram, and I think, and also I don't know how other people play this because I assume if you just base it on actual players and their taste, it's just going to be like a rap supergroup.
It's
Um,
honestly however you see it coming to life.
but I see him akin to King Cruel.
Ooh.
Like I feel like they're similarly like these young stars who then got like a little typecasted and then like maybe a little misunderstood, but like also Is there like this like I don't know, like just very unique skill set.
Mhm.
So that's my first draft is
Okay.
Brandon Ingram, and for some reason I don't know if he plays guitar like King Cruel or if he has that same low voice or something, but that's like where
Right.
I'm going to start the band with right there.
Okay. Love that. So he's just on vocals, Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Because then I'll
Okay.
sit like Steph and the Paramore thing. Like I don't want Steph on vocals like that.
Yeah. That changes the vibe completely.
Yeah, but that feels
I
like
feel
the
like Steph on
biggest.
vocals would lower your cred.
Yeah, does everyone go there in this game like Steph and Paramore?
I no, they don't, but I have people have I think the last person who did this definitely had Steph, I think on guitar.
Yeah,
But it's, it's you can leave him out. You can have some people do draft based on like, oh dude, he's super tall, he's got long arms, he's playing the bass really low, stuff like that.
yeah. Okay, I see that. I mean, maybe I say it's all Pelicans. I see Zion as a drummer, like a
Absolutely.
like this power drum, obviously.
Heavy on the
Almost
toms.
totally. Yeah, definitely having on the tops.
He's just doing
I see
four on the
Joe.
floor, just nonstop.
Yeah, and like a tiny kit too, like a jazz kit or something,
Yeah.
like almost like the Gorillas
Yeah,
caricature,
totally,
like
totally.
yeah.
That's exactly what I thought of.
Um, I love Josh Hart. I've always loved him, and he was also on the Pelicans for a little
You're
bit.
going
But
hard with the
I
Pelicans.
just but I feel like he's just a classic glue guy. So it's just as a basis, I just like
Mhm.
I don't know care what the genre is. I think he's gonna be a great bassist because he's a glue guy. He like brings it all together, you know.
Uh-huh.
Um, that's my trio. That's what I got.
Okay. So we're
And
gonna
then I
keep
was
Ingram on
thinking,
guitar then.
no, I was thinking, I say what my notes were. Brandon Ingram's on guitar. It's like a King Cruel guitar, and then Jalen Brown is the singer. I feel like
Okay.
he's a lot to say.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's a little confessional, and sometimes
Uh-huh.
he'll put his foot in his mouth in that way. But as a singer and a front person, you probably want that. You know, that's a little more exciting.
What kind of sound overall do you think this is overall like a King Cruel type of sound, or is it more than that?
It feels UK based. So King
It
Cruel
does,
meets
it
like the
really does feel like
Gorillas,
that.
drums. I don't know how Jalen's singing. I don't know his ranges.
You're not going as like heavy as like an Idols though, right?
No, not that
Okay.
heavy.
Okay.
I can't figure out how Jalen sings. And like Josh Hart, he can just play all genres. You know, he's just a great glue guy. Like, is it a prog band? I got you. Is it like a
Yeah.
pop punk band? I got you. Like
I,
he's
f- I feel like it's somewhere in between like, that like Brit rock and like British rap.
yeah, like
It's
kind
like
of
somewhere in
grungy.
between.
Yeah, there it is.
I guess it is kind of the Gorillas.
Yeah, it's just describe the Gorillas. Yeah, very
Right.
specific features on like later Gorillas albums.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay. Solid. That's a solid band. Um, cool, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on and talking a little basketball.
yeah, man. Like,
Always good too.
once a season, come on,
Yeah,
it's
that'd be
fun.
great.
It's fun to get into to depth about some basketball. You know,
I know, man.
and
It's always a good time.
indie and basketball. You combine them too.
And yeah, I think we'll be hopefully connecting soon and getting you playing on the court, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Awesome. Cool, man. Well, thanks again for coming on. It's always good talking.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right, man. I'll catch you later.